Hey everybody, I'm Eric from Valve, and today we're going to talk Steam keys. Now, there's so much more information about this online in our documentation, but this is just going to get you up to speed really quick. We're going to cover how to request Steam keys, the 3 types of Steam keys, and where and how to ban Steam keys when you need to do that. All right, let's get right into it. The first thing that we're going to talk about is how to request Steam keys. And you'll start at your game's app landing page. If you have the correct permissions, you'll see an option that says Request Steam Product Keys, as you see here. Clicking this link takes you to a wizard that is designed to walk you through the process of requesting Steam keys. Before you make a Steam key request, you should know what you'll be using this batch of keys for so you can request the correct type of Steam key and where you'll be using them so you can tag the keys appropriately. So you may be asking, there are 3 kinds of Steam keys? I thought there was just one. Well, actually, there are 3 types of keys, and in this video, I'll be explaining each type. We're going to start with the default release key. This is the type of key you probably have in mind when you think of a key users redeem on Steam to add your game to their library. Default release keys are the most common type of Steam key. They're typically used to sell your game at retail or on other digital stores. Users can redeem a default release key to add a game to their library at any time, but it will only allow them to play the game once it's actually released on Steam. A common question we get from developers is, after my game is launched on Steam, can I go ahead and sell these keys on my website or another store? Yes, absolutely, and we don't charge you anything for that service. Our only request is that you give an equivalent offer to customers on Steam. Finally, make sure to carefully review and accept the Steam key guidelines that are presented to you at the end of the key request process. Okay, now moving on to the next type of Steam key, let's talk about release override keys, sometimes called beta keys. These keys grant immediate access to your game even before it is officially launched on Steam. Now, these keys are best used for small beta tests, or if you want to give out keys to press or influencers before your game is actually launched. If you have a much larger stress test in mind for your game, or you think you need a large number of release override keys for another reason, you can always reach out to us via a support ticket and we'll review your request. We can usually figure out something that will work for you. The next important point about release override keys is that unless they are revoked, a user will keep access to your game forever, even after your game is launched. So, for example, if you're running a beta test with 1,000 people, and at the end of the test you feel like you got all the data and feedback you need from that test, you should probably revoke those keys, or otherwise all of those users will keep the game after launch, meaning you've effectively given away 1,000 copies of your game. Finally, it's important to note that it's never okay to sell release override keys. Unlike default release keys, which are designed to be used to help you sell your game on your website or in other stores, release override keys should never be sold, and they're really just intended to be used for beta tests and press and influencers. Finally, we move on to the last of the 3 types of Steam keys, and that's developer auto grant. A lot of times, developers don't actually need to request any of these keys at all. And that's because any account that's in your Steamworks partner group will automatically get access to your game. So you really shouldn't need very many of these keys. Typically 10 would be plenty. They're really just for any developers who aren't already in your partner group. Developer auto grant keys should never be sold or distributed to stores. Earlier, I mentioned that there may be cases where you would want to revoke access to a Steam key. And doing that is a pretty simple process. First, you will go to this website linked here. And on this website, you can disable unused keys that you don't need anymore. So for example, if you had provided a big batch of keys to another retailer and they had returned back any unsold keys to you and you wanted to safely dispose of those, you could do that on this website. You can also use this site to revoke access to your game, such as at the end of a beta test. You can also revoke keys that have been stolen or purchased fraudulently. Now, that last item, you really want to be extra careful anytime you are banning keys, because once a key is revoked, it can't be given back. And we really ask that you please do not revoke keys for any arbitrary reasons or take away product from legitimate customers. So be extra careful. All right, in summary, how do I request Steam keys? Well, go to your app landing page for your game, click on Request Steam Product Keys, follow the on-screen wizard. At the end, carefully review and accept the Steam key guidelines, and then your key request is submitted and it will be reviewed. What are the 3 types of Steam keys? There is the default release key, typically just what people think of as a Steam key. And these are used to sell your game on your website or another store, and they only grant access to your game after it's been launched on Steam. Next is the release override key. It grants immediate access to your game even before you've launched your game on Steam, and it's really intended to be used for beta testing and press and influencer access. Finally, there's the developer auto grant. A lot of developers don't even need this key at all, but it's really just for developers who are working on your game who aren't already in your partner group. Finally, how do I ban and revoke keys? You go to this website and follow the instructions. Okay, there's so much more information available online, and here is a link to our documentation where you can read more about Steam keys. And of course, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to our biz and tech team directly using this link. All right, that's it for this quick guide on Steam keys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.